Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we got another match preview. Chelsea versus Leicester is going on tomorrow and it's a big game. It's a really big game. Leicester obviously looking like one of the best teams in Europe at the moment with their form. They're really performing, they're doing brilliantly under Brendan Rodgers at the moment. And if Chelsea are looking to get up there at the end of the season, be in the mix of maybe even a title shout, we need to prove that we can beat Leicester and some of the bigger teams, because we've not beaten a top half team this season as of yet. Brendan Rodgers is obviously a great coach. He was in charge of Liverpool, Celtic, and then came to Leicester recently. He's been doing really well in the recent years. Obviously, they won the league in the 2015-16 season under Claudio Ranieri, an ex-Chelsea manager, but they were able to build on their title win, and they did some great investing. They brought in Yuri Tielemans. They've got some great young players from the academy who, it's interesting, if they didn't win the Premier League in that magical season, do you think the likes of Ben Chilwell, Harvey Barnes, Luke Thomas would have all wanted to prove himself to the top head coach? Because it's crazy. Leicester never really would have had a brilliant academy. Well, they've had a brilliant academy if you look at it, Barnes, Chilwell, but do you think those players would have been or turned out as good as they are now if Leicester didn't win the title in that 2015-16 season? Comment down below. Okay, starting off with the injury list and suspensions. Frank Lampard just finished his interview and he has confirmed that N'Golo Kante is out with an injury. His hamstring injury got in the game against Manchester City. He came off towards the end. Billy Gilmour went into the sixth role and he couldn't play against Morecambe through injury. He couldn't play against Fulham through suspension, but we were all hoping and we just assumed that he'd be back for the Leicester game, as I think Frank did say before that he'd be okay to play against I think Frank did say that he'd be okay to play against Fulham, but due to his suspension, he couldn't. So we assumed that he could play against Leicester. He can't. There's not any other injuries in the squad. Reece James is back. He's spent the whole Fulham game on the bench on Saturday. Lampard didn't start him. He started Azpilicueta. I guess he didn't want to risk him just in case. Andreas Christensen's knee injury looks like it is healed, which is weird because it looked like about a week ago or 2 weeks ago that due to Christensen's knee injury, Fikayo Tomori would have to stay at the club for squad depth. But now Tomori looks like he's on the brink of joining AC Milan. We're still not sure why Kurt Zouma didn't play against Fulham. I'm guessing it's just because he wanted to rotate the squad. Zouma played alongside Rudiger against Morecambe, so maybe he needed a rest as well. But Thiago Silva played, so I don't know. But yeah, he should be back. I'm not sure if it was injury or not, but he should be playing against Leicester. Okay, now on to my predicted lineup. I'm switching around today. I'm going with a 4-4-2. We saw it towards the end of the game against Fulham. We got the goal and there were lots of chances being created at the end. I'm not sure whether that was just because Fulham were pushing for a goal, but it looked like they were hanging on to a draw. So there were at least another 3 more chances for Timo Werner to wrap up. Yeah, we created a lot of chances. Mason Mount obviously got the winner in the 78th minute. We brought on a lot of players and I'm going for a 4-4-2 once again. We didn't start with it. We started with a 4-3-3 against Leicester, but I'm going with just change it up a bit. Leicester, they normally go with a 3-back system. I'm not going to do a predicted Leicester lineup because this is a Chelsea channel and I assume most of you are probably Chelsea fans rather than Leicester fans. Jamie Vardy looks to be fit for the game, which is a little bit of worry. He came off against Southampton in their last game, but he looks to be okay to play against Chelsea. As they tend to play with 3 centre-backs, it's less defenders. So if Chelsea go out with more strikers, then it should just be more goals. No? Is that not how it works? Okay, so in goal, I'm going with Edouard Mendy. I don't think anyone can argue against that. He obviously kept a clean sheet, first clean sheet in a while against Fulham. Kepa kept a clean sheet against Morecambe, but it's Morecambe. And I don't think anyone is really expecting Kepa to prove himself as the first choice #1 goalkeeper for Chelsea in his career, basically. I'm just hoping we can ship him on in the summer. And Mendy looks like he could be our #1 for the future. Also, maybe Gianluigi Donnarumma could come in on a free. Chelsea are yet to agree that transfer with AC Milan. I don't know what's going on there. I thought we should have just gone straight in because he's such a good player for free. It's a no-brainer, but maybe not. Maybe it's not as simple as that. At right back, I've gone with Reece James. Azpilicueta's been good. He always gives a solid 7, 8 out of 10, but he's getting a bit older now and people are able to run past him a lot easier. Like Anthony Robinson, yes, he did try and break Azpilicueta's shins and he did a backflip in mid-air to get, but it was all worth it because Robinson got the red card. But they did get through on a few occasions through Robinson's pace, getting past Azpilicueta a bit too easily. So I've gone with Reece James. Should be back from injury, and also he gives a better option of going forward. So he's got a great cross on him, probably better than Azpilicueta. So, and he's probably more physical coming up against Harvey Barnes. That's going to be difficult to defend. At centre backs, I've gone with Thiago Silva and Kurt Zouma. Our dream partnership, that's who I'd probably go with, is our perfect defence, really, being completed with Ben Chilwell at left back. He didn't have a great game against Fulham. He's very inconsistent, but he's playing his old team. He would want to go and prove the £50 million price tag that he was brought in from Leicester, and hopefully he can put in a good performance. In midfield, like I said, I'm going for a 4-4-2. So in the 2-8, I guess it's 2 8s, it's not 2 6s, 2 number 8s. I've gone with Mateo Kovacic and Mason Mount. Mason Mount's probably the first name on the team sheet every week now, as he's proven that he's so key to the squad. And the other player I'd go next to him, it'd normally probably be, or if there wasn't an injury and we were playing a 4-4-2, I'd probably have gone with N'Golo Kante, as he's a lot better in a 2 rather than a 3 or a 1, depending how you look at it. But I've gone with Mateo Kovacic over Jorginho, just because he's a lot faster, and in a 2 you need a little bit more pace to transition. And I've gone with Kovacic over Gilmour just because he's a little bit better at defending, and he's probably got it in him to drive and go round other midfielders for Leicester. I love Billy Gilmour, he's my football lookalike apparently, and I would love to see him start against Leicester, but I do just see Kovacic playing instead due to his just a bit more experience. And if we're playing with Mount in the midfield, that's quite a very inexperienced midfield if we have a 22-year-old in Mount and a 19-year-old in Gilmour. At right wing, I've gone with Hakim Ziyech. He was one of our more creative players when we had the great run going. He didn't do much against Fulham. He put in a few balls into the box, his brilliant diagonal balls, but his partnership with Reece James down the right hand side is exciting. And with Reece James coming back over Azpilicueta, hopefully he can have a little bit of a better performance and be more influential in the attack. At left wing, it's a bit of a controversial decision. I've gone with Callum Hudson-Odoi. I've left out Christian Pulisic for this game. I think he could come on the left, or he could even go up front. He did look like he went up front for a little bit, him and Werner switching striker and left wing when Lampard played the 2 up top against Fulham towards the end of the game. Callum Hudson-Odoi's been on great form. He didn't start against Fulham, although I'm saying most people thought that he would. Christian Pulisic played a lot of games in a row. I think he needs a bit of a breather. Maybe he can come on, like I said, for Hudson-Odoi towards the end. But I think Hudson-Odoi deserves a start, especially after his goal against Man City, his assist against Arsenal, his goal against Morecambe. I think that he's proved that he should be in the starting 11. And now, up top, I've gone with a partnership of Tammy Abraham and Timo Werner. I've left out Olivier Giroud. Olivier Giroud is very good at bouncing passes off. He can hold up the ball very well, and especially for a 2-striker formation, he can be there for a cross and he can header it, volley it, whatever. But I've gone with Tammy Abraham just because it's a little bit more pace, a little bit more running. Like, you can play the 3 balls to Tammy, and Timo Werner, his pace on the transition should be very key as well. Hopefully he can just not miss an open goal again. And I love Timo Werner. I think he's a great signing. Hopefully he can prove his worth sooner rather than later, but obviously it's going to take time to adapt to the Premier League. Christian Pulisic a year to get going and get firing in the Premier League from Germany as well. So I think we just got to give Timo and Kai Havertz time to settle in. That is my predicted lineup. I've gone with a 4-4-2. Comment your thoughts down below. I'd be interested to see your lineups. So yeah, you can just comment your lineups down below. I'll reply to all of them. Make sure you like, subscribe. Hopefully we can beat the Foxes. I do like Leicester, they're quite a good team, and I like the way Brendan Rodgers plays. I respect him thoroughly, but I think Chelsea will come out on top. Maybe a 2-1 or a 3-1 result. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.